Imagine this. You're 40 years old. Your knees ache in the morning. Your recovery takes days, not hours. Most footballers retire, become pundits, or sit on the beach sipping cocktails. But Luka Modrić? He's not sipping cocktails. He's out there in Serie A, dribbling past players who grew up watching him on TV. And here's the crazy part. At 40 years old, he's not just playing, he's becoming the best midfielder in the entire league. That's supposed to be impossible. That's supposed to belong only to Zlatan. Remember Zlatan Ibrahimović, who dragged Milan to the Serie A title at 40? Everyone said that was the last miracle we'd ever see. But then came Modrić, and he dared to challenge Zlatan's legacy. Napoli stood in the way, the reigning champions. A beast of a team with Kevin De Bruyne running the midfield. Milan went down to 10 men after Mike Maignan was sent off. Everyone thought the match was done. Napoli had the advantage, the penalty, the momentum. But then something magical happened. Modrić took control. He didn't just play, he dominated. He made De Bruyne, one of the best in the world, look like an amateur. At 40 years old, this wasn't just a match. It was a war for legacy. A battle between Zlatan's ghost and Modric's dream. Let's rewind for a second. Serie A isn't just another league. It's a graveyard for the weak and a stage for warriors. This is the land of Maldini, Totti, Buffon. Legends who refuse to age, and at the very top of that list stands Zlatan Ibrahimović. At 40, Zlatan carried AC Milan to the Scudetto. It wasn't just football, it was mythology. A giant, refusing to bend to time, leading his team to glory. People said, that's it. That's the last time we'll ever see something like this. No one else can ever do what Zlatan did. But football has a funny way of proving people wrong. Luka Modrić, the little magician from Croatia, decided he wasn't finished. He wasn't going to be remembered only for Madrid's Champions League nights. He wanted more. He wanted Italy. He wanted Serie A. He wanted to stare Zlatan's record in the face and break it. Now picture this. Milan versus Napoli. The champions against the challengers. The world watching. And the drama? Instant. Kevin De Bruyne steps up for Napoli. A penalty. Ice cold. Goal. Napoli lead. And then disaster strikes Milan. Mike Maignan, one of the best keepers in Europe, sees red. Gone. Milan down to 10 men. 80 minutes left to play against the champions. It should have been over. But football isn't math. Football is emotion. And in the middle of the chaos, one man stood calm. Luka Modrić. At 40 years old, controlling, dictating, slowing down time like a chess master moving pieces on a board. And what he did next shocked everyone. De Bruyne, one of the finest midfielders the world has ever seen. A man who dominates the Premier League. A man who makes defences tremble with one pass. But against Modrić, he looked ordinary. Not just ordinary, he's lost. Modrić pressed him. Modrić twisted him. Modrić made him chase shadows. And at one moment, in front of the Napoli fans, Modrić made De Bruyne look like an amateur. A nutmeg here, a feint there. And suddenly, the best midfielder in the world was standing still, watching a 40-year-old run the show. This wasn't just skill. This was experience. This was genius. This was football teaching us a lesson. Class doesn't age. Legs might slow down, but the mind can be eternal. But here's the question. Was Modrić just playing for 3 points? This was bigger. This was legacy, because Zlatan's crown was hanging over San Siro like a shadow. Zlatan's record, winning Serie A at 40, stood like an unbreakable monument. Modrić wasn't just fighting Napoli. He was fighting time itself. He was fighting history. And if he succeeded, if Modrić could lead Milan to glory at 40, then suddenly Zlatan's greatest achievement would have a rival. Suddenly the conversation changes. Who aged better? Who defined greatness longer? Who is Serie A's true timeless legend? What made this performance special wasn't just the passes or the tackles, it was the control. At 40, Modrić didn't have the pace to sprint past players anymore, but he didn't need it. He slowed the game down when Milan needed breath. He sped it up when Napoli felt comfortable. He turned chaos into rhythm. He made 10 men play like 11. This was artistry. This was poetry in boots. This was Luka Modrić, showing the world that age is just a number, but class is permanent. And slowly whispers began, he's doing it. He's really doing it. Zlatan's record might not last much longer. In football, there are goals, trophies, numbers, but then there are stories that live forever. Zlatan gave us one. Modrić is writing another. When people look back at Serie A, they won't just remember who won the Scudetto. They'll remember this. A 40-year-old genius standing on the same battlefield where Zlatan once ruled, refusing to bow down to age, to Napoli, to anyone. This wasn't just football. This was time versus talent. And once again, talent won. So here's my question for you. Who wins the battle of legacy? Zlatan at 40, carrying Milan to the Scudetto, or Modrić at 40, outclassing De Bruyne and defying the impossible? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this debate could go on forever. And if you love stories like this of the madness, the emotion, the legends who refuse to die, then hit that subscribe button right now. Because trust me, this is only the beginning.